summertime, it felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thanks for coming on my show today. So tell our viewers who don't know you who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Alexis Govea. Some do know me as Lexi because I also work, I'll start off with working at Q97.1, which is a radio station here in Fresno. And then I'm also in TV. I work for Fox 26 News as a morning reporter, which people know me as Alexis there. Sometimes every now and then the anchors will call me Lexi, and I think the viewers are starting to get used to that, know me as my nickname as well. Or sometimes, you know, people do call me Lex as well. My family, all of my family pretty much calls me Lex. But yeah, so I graduated from Fresno State with my bachelor's degree in mass communication and journalism with an emphasis in broadcast, and then with the minor in Spanish as well. And then, yeah, that's pretty much my background when it comes to school. Bulldog born, Bulldog bred.
That's awesome. So how did you get started? What came first, the radio or the TV?
It was the radio that came first. So I started off as an imaging voice, basically doing like rejoiners. I started doing commercials for Q97.1 radio, and then eventually I got my night show, and yeah, that's how it started.
So when can we listen to you? What's the night show?
7 p.m., which is when I'm in the mix with DJ Herb, and then 8 to midnight is my night show, basically.
See, I think, and do a lot of people think you're two different people? Because I think I've heard, and then I don't realize you're the girl from the news. I mean, people get confused all the time, right?
No, I've gotten that plenty of times. They're like, wait, that voice sounded familiar, but I just had to make sure, like, wait, is that Lexi? A lot of people know me as Lexi, more so as Alexis. Once they realize, like, okay, that's Alexis, but no, that's really Lexi. Does that make sense?
Funny. No, that totally makes sense. So how did you get from there to Fox 26?
Yeah, so from, well, how long was it? I want to say maybe not even a year. I don't think so. Yeah, so I'm like trying to calculate, you know, time flies, and it's like, especially working in news, you're like, what day is it?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I was working at the radio station, and then eventually I ended up getting the TV gig, which was, I've been in TV for 5 months now. Yeah.
Really? So it just like you were applying as well when you were still at the station. You're like, I want to see if I get that. You kept on applying the whole time, and then this came along.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how it happened.
That's so cool, because I always hear, and I don't know if it's true, that a lot of times they keep you, when you kind of get stuck. So when you get stuck in radio, you get stuck in radio, and get stuck on TV. So now, is that more of a thing where it's kind of like you can go back and forth?
Between the two?
Yeah,
just
between
having
the
both?
two, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I love radio so much that I was like, I can't give that up. Once I, you know, went into TV, I was like, no, I still am going to keep radio as well. Some people are like, how do you do it? When do you sleep? I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know, on the weekends.
So your show actually goes to midnight at nighttime?
Yeah.
And then you wake up early to do the early morning news?
So I'm like, disclaimer, no. Basically, yeah, it's from 7 p.m. to midnight. That's when it's on. That's
but you do it a little earlier sometimes?
I can,
sometimes it's not live, okay. And then how early
You're letting my secrets out,
I'm
Sparkle.
So sorry. And then how early is it that you start the news?
Well, so this week, I'm actually filling in for an anchor. So I'm waking up at 2 in the morning. Yeah.
So you really don't sleep?
So I really don't, technically, yeah. Because either right after TV, I go home, take a little nap, and then, you know, shower, try to freshen up, and then feel awake. And then I'll go to radio, or sometimes I'll just go straight from TV to radio. It just depends how I'm feeling, you know, and it depends also when I have other stuff going on throughout the day.
So when you fill in for an anchor, who then does like your job? Because you're like always on location, on site.
Right.
So who does that when you're filling in for the anchor?
Well, for instance, for this week, Justin Willis is actually in Washington, D.C. So he's the reporter, but if he wasn't there on the trip, then there wouldn't be anyone because it's just me. I'm the only morning reporter right now.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot, too, where you have to fill in for the anchor.
Yeah, it can happen just whenever they need me. And
so nobody does take your spot to go out on location then? There's just no one to do it? That is so crazy. What a crazy little job and setup that is. What were some of the challenges that like you were faced with in the 5 months you've been doing that? What were some of the, like the surprises where you're like, oh my gosh, this and that? I know you had some technical difficulties. What were some of the other challenges?
Other challenges? That's a good question. I think just honestly, day by day, you learn something new. There's, you know, I go in one day and the next day I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that. Wow, that's something new that I learned. Or when it comes to a challenge, you know, you just never know what can arise. Like you're saying, it could be a technical issue or it can be something that honestly, technical is a big challenge just because you never know. Like we have what's called an IFB, so that's where I'm hearing my producer, I'm hearing the anchors talk to me, and not a lot of people see that. You know, it's a lot of behind the scenes that viewers wouldn't even know.
Right.
You know, and I normally have my AirPod, which, so funny story, like sometimes people think like, okay, well, why do you have that, like the AirPod, you know, but it's like I'm saying, it's our IFB. There's an actual like IFB, but I don't use the earpiece. It's like clear, which you wouldn't be able to see, but I use the AirPod because it's just so easy just to pop it in, you know? But like I said, just the behind the scenes when it comes to like the technical, you just never know. My IFB can drop sparkle and I'm just like, oh, I can't hear the anchors anymore, you know? It's not every day, but you gotta be ready. You gotta, and again, viewers don't know at home sometimes the little things that can happen, and you just have to remind yourself too, like, hey, sometimes things are out of your control, so you just gotta go with the flow and do your best.
That's always improv.
So it's improv.
Yeah,
no,
all
seriously,
the time.
yeah. So I think, you know, just challenges like that, and you just never know. Sometimes, like for instance, today when I was anchoring, there was a light that, I mean, we have lights right here. You know how it is. Sometimes if you're looking in the light, and there was one that was like right in my direction, so it was a little difficult for me to look at the teleprompter, read the words from the teleprompter. So, you know, it could be something as small as that I'm just like, and as it is, I have bad vision, so that doesn't help. You know, it could be something like that just little things that can, you know, arise, and you just gotta roll with the punches and just do your best. Show up, and yeah, that's about it.
Wow. And so that's going to be interesting too, because when you're on location, there is no teleprompter, and you're just kind of going off the fly, doing that. And then how is it to move from teleprompter to just going off the fly? What's that like?
Yeah, it's definitely different, you know, and like you mentioned, it's a lot of improv, just on the fly, and whatever comes out of your mouth. Sometimes I'm like, oh, cringe, why did I say that? But then I got to remind myself, like, hey, I'm human, you know?
Can't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. You know, I tell myself that every day. But, I mean, hey, it's TV, so people actually, it's different than radio where they can't see you, you know, you're talking, and you're saying stuff so people can't visually see. But when it comes to TV, you know, they're seeing your facial expressions, all that good stuff. So it's like, you know, I can't say something and then it like be cringe and then myself make a little face, you know what I mean? It's just like, you just gotta go with it, and like you mentioned, not be so hard on myself. And I think that's something I'm learning, just be kinder, remind myself like, hey, I'm human, you know, no one's perfect. And so yeah, that's about it.
And that's got to be very different from radio, because with radio, I mean, you don't even have to look cute, right? Can you just pop
No,
up in
it's
there?
funny because, you know, in TV I go with, most of the time I have my heels on, I have like, whether it's a dress or like skirt, a nice top, or, you know, because most of the time they're just looking from here up. And then I go to radio and I just have like not even slick back. Normally in TV I wear my hair slick back, so it's out of my face. And then for TV I'm just like, whoop, hair down, ball cap, tennis shoes, like it could even be sweats, you know, something cute and comfy. But yeah, it's just it's different.
That's so funny.
Sure.
Like, what a transition. So do you interview a lot on radio too? On your show, do you interview a lot of people, or not really?
Not right now. Just because too, from, you know, COVID, with having people in the studio, it's just been a little bit different right now. But no interviews.
So what does your show mainly consist of at nighttime?
It's a lot of just upbeat, just showing my personality, and just basically, you know, music, because at night, you know, that's what, especially if people are driving and going home or work coming.
So you don't have to read the stories or say, oh, this happened today.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
You do a little bit of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Something
Still
crazy and fun, yeah.
Yeah, and I like to do like national days and encouragement. Like on Mondays, I'll say like Monday motivation, and
awesome.
like, you know, Tuesdays like Taco Tuesday.
Do you get a lot of creativity on that, or does someone kind of guide you?
No, I'm my own producer. Yeah.
Do you ever get in trouble? Do you ever like
Have I
say
said
like
anything?
the S word or something weird and then you get in trouble?
No,
or
thankfully,
can
that's
you?
my worst fear for both radio and TV to say something. And, you know, like I said, especially with TV, because those are all live shots. I don't know if I mentioned that, Sparkle, but
Oh, yeah.
it's all live shots for TV. So, yeah.
Even
I'm
at the
live.
anchor desk, it's all live as
Yeah,
well?
everything is live. So, yeah, I've never said anything, thankfully. No cuss words either.
I mean,
Yeah,
would
no
they be more
cuss words.
lenient on you on radio? Like if you said S-H-I-T or something, can you do that on radio? Would they be okay with that?
I would just rather say shoot. Just to be
Yeah,
on the safe
I
side,
just
you
wonder.
know?
I wonder what the rules were and how lenient they were on the radio station. You haven't heard of anybody really?
Honestly, well, I don't know.
I feel like they might be more forgiving than Fox 26.
Yeah, I better not say that
Yeah,
word
that's
on
funny.
TV.
So yeah, so pretty much everything's cool. Everything you say, you don't get reprimanded at all. Like, don't tell that story or anything
When it comes to radio or TV,
either.
like stories as in.
Have you ever gotten basically just
In
reprimanded in
trouble
trouble
with
for
anything?
anything? Yeah.
No, I have not. I'm like, hopefully never.
Well, that's no, that's awesome because I
Yeah.
never know, how it goes
Yeah.
with that. Who are the friends that you made in either?
I've made friends definitely on the scene. I mean, who would have known? I met you while I was on the scene. Like, yeah, I meet people every day pretty much on when I'm, like I was interviewing your friends and then look, I met you. So,
Right.
it's pretty neat, the people that you get to meet and the people who actually have an impact on me, like people that I encounter, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just made my day. I'm over here, highlighting people in our community, if it's for my later hours in TV, and who would have known that the community has an impact on me already,
Oh yeah, no, for
it's
sure. I
amazing.
learned that in this too. Just like people that are doing big things, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know that was going. And I
Right.
bet you it's like an education for you. You don't even know what's going on in your backyard, and they send you somewhere, and you're like, wow, I never knew.
No, it's amazing. I love meeting new people and just hearing their stories, and
Right.
it's just touching, it's very touching. So yeah.
What about in the industry? Like you work with Kimmy. Did any of these people kind of guide you when you first got to these places? Like when you first got on the air, did like Kimmy like, hey, this is how it works here? Did you get friends like that?
Well, she was actually, the transition was she was already kind of heading out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really necessarily get to work close with her. Yeah.
But anybody else in like radio there that kind of helped you and said, this is how we do it, or?
I think just still learning from them every day,
You got some good
Just
mentors.
learning from the vets and just taking it all in. I'm always asking questions, and I think that's something about me too. I'm just a very curious person, and I'm not scared to ask questions.
That's really important.
Yeah, I'm not scared to like, I don't feel like intimidated. You know what I mean? It's just important to like, hey, you know what you're doing, and if you can pass that along to me and help me out, like that's great, and the people who are willing to. So yeah.
Who were some of the people that helped you out at Fox 26 when you like some of the veterans that helped you out?
I would just say a lot of different people, even from the night show, from the 10 p.m., just giving me tips, advice, especially that first week. They were just all very, very helpful. Seriously, like, and I'm not even saying that just to say that, like, they gave me at least one piece, whether it was, something short and sweet and long. And I did have like a buddy, people who were working closely with me, and just, I was seeing the ropes that first week. But yeah, there was a lot of helpful people, so I'm so thankful for that.
Did you know who a lot of the people were beforehand?
Yes, because I did my internship at Fox 26 News.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you knew all the anchors, and
There
that's
were
really
some
cool.
new people, but yeah, there was definitely some new people, but I was able to, meet them too. And one girl, she actually she got a new job, so yeah, so I was like, oh, she was so awesome, just a good person, genuine person who was very helpful within that like week. She's just awesome. Like, they're giving, tips and personal tips as well, not just work related, like just life, because it's a lot of work. And so just making sure, mentally that you're taking care of yourself too. So I thought that was very important. But seeing her go, it's like, oh, you know, and like you mentioned, like you asked, did I know everyone there? That's why I brought her up. Like I didn't know her; she wasn't there during my internship time, but yeah, she definitely helped me along the way.
How do they feel about you doing the radio station too? Are they supportive of that you're doing both?
Oh yeah, definitely. They ask me every day, how do you do it? They're part of the ones that ask me like, man, when do you sleep? You know, but no, yeah, they're very supportive. They know sometimes I'm tired, but getting through it and still energetic.
Do you ever cross promote the two, or not really?
No, I don't mention, like when I'm on radio, I
Really?
don't mention that, oh, like my.
Can you? Are you allowed to, or you don't know?
Honestly, I've never even asked.
Well, I imagine that'd be something to talk about on the radio station. Oh my God, I started doing this. Like, watch, keep up. You don't, but yeah.
Yeah, honestly, no, I've never. I just kind of keep them separate, you know? Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good balance. Well, so what about other news outlets? Do you know a lot of the other news anchors at other news, or you kind of just, you guys stay to yourselves?
Yeah, I do know the other ones. Well, the 2 mornings. So there's 2 other morning from ABC, and then, well, one I should say from ABC, and then one from KC 24, and then 47, CBS. It's a duopoly.
Right.
Yeah. So there's one of each.
So you guys all know each other and just...
Yeah, we see each other
That's
out on the scene.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
No,
So
yeah, we're
it's-
cool. Yeah. There's no animosity, if that's what you're getting to.
Well, do you ever ask advice? I was just wondering more if you guys ever
Yeah.
work together on advice, or if there's a pressing story that you kind of like, if you guys ever get advice from each other about that. Because you guys will sometimes are reporting the same thing, and you want to kind of say it in different ways. So do you guys ever give advice on stuff like that?
Not necessarily stuff like that, no.
So, for example, like I saw you post about the missing Selma girl. Like that's been a big news story that you probably covered.
Right, yeah. No, that's something, yeah, it's sad, you know, but have to inform our community and hope that, you know, you never know who sees that picture
Right.
that I had posted on Instagram, and they're like, hey, like I noticed it. You know what I mean? They see
Oh,
her
yeah,
somewhere.
that's how it
or,
works.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, it's important that well, for me personally, you know, post something like that. That's near and dear in my heart, and it's just touching to me. And, yeah.
So you guys ever get together, I don't know, have some cocktails and be like, oh my gosh, that news story. Oh yeah, I heard about that. They don't do that in the news world.
With other people?
Like with other people that are like the other anchors. Like I said, do you guys ever get together and like talk about stuff like that?
Outside of work?
Yeah.
Not
Not really.
No, I personally haven't.
These are the questions I think people want to know too. Is like, what really happens with that? Because you know, there's just, you guys are doing a lot of the same stories and saying it in different ways. So.
Right.
Well, that was just interesting. What about your radio people? Do you guys hang out outside of that? Because I've gone to one of the parties actually at your station. And so I got to meet a lot of the people there. Do you guys talk about stuff like that too? And when it comes to like reporting and stuff, or not really?
I don't really hang out with them outside of. I don't have time.
Well, that is very
But that's
true.
a good question.
You're a very busy person.
No, that's a good question though. But no, not really.
Do you at least have weekends off?
Yeah, right now I do. But then when basketball starts for Fresno State men's basketball, I'm going to be the in-game host again. So then I'll be doing Saturdays.
So you could never really like enjoy a basketball game or a football game, huh? Because you go and report, and then you don't have the time to stay for the whole game, do you?
Well, let's just say, for instance, when it comes to basketball, I mean, I love in-game hosting. That's one of my favorite things to do ever. So I enjoy it. You know, it's kind of like I'm not even working, honestly.
So you do get to be there for the whole time.
Oh yeah, I get to enjoy it. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. When
Wow.
I'm not up there hyping up the crowd, doing my in-game stuff, then yeah, I'm able to watch it. So that's fun.
Wow. So you're gonna be like going to 6 days a week really soon.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
It's a good thing you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you what year did you graduate FSU?
It was in 17.
Okay, so from there on, you just went straight to like radio and then interning on TV.
Well, I was already interning in college. Yeah. So I started interning pretty much when I had gotten there. Well, not necessarily like the first semester, but when I had transferred, and then yeah, I was.
Where'd you
doing that.
transfer from?
Just from a community college. Not not another university. It was a community college.
Wow, that is so cool. So
Yeah.
what What do your like fellow classmates think about it? Did they kind of take on a similar career path, or are they just kind of like in awe that you just kind of started right away, boom, boom, boom?
There are some others that were also in my MCJ classes, mass communication and journalism classes, but there's other people that went a different way. They decided not to pursue a career in broadcast journalism, but you know, everyone's path is different, and I thank God right now for the opportunity that's in front of me and just make the best out of it right now.
And what is it like going back to your old college and reporting on that? That's got to be interesting too, right?
Yeah. No, I love, my photographer always jokes, he's like, I've never known anyone that has so much passion for their school, because I went, like when it was the first day back for Fresno State students, we went and I was just so excited. I was hyped up, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're just, you know, so excited. I was like, I know, I love my school. No, I take so much pride in being a Fresno State graduate, for sure.
Have they asked you to come back and like speak to the classes? I think you'd be great. Like if I was getting into something and there and seeing what I could be in like 5 years, you're a great success story. Do you ever go back and talk to them?
Not yet. I haven't yet, but hopefully we're manifesting that right now.
I know.
It's important, you know. I'm a very private person, like when it comes to, you know, certain aspects of my life, just because, I don't know, and a lot of people would think like, oh, well, you're a broadcaster.
I understand
Sometimes that's
that.
a thing, you know, they think like,
I understand.
oh, but when it comes to like helping people and being able to share my story and how, you know, I can be an impact for others, and like you're saying, like, you know, with their career, and sometimes it could be hard. You're like, okay, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing, or what is my purpose in life? And just being able to help people. So that would be something that I would love to do. Go to Fresno State and talk to students, whether it's MCJ students or not. You know, just being able to help them with real life situations.
Oh, for sure. Because I think a lot of times they're kind of like, you go into a career path, you're not sure what you want to do. And then you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be stuck in doing something not that fun for a long time until I get to that point. And you've kind of hit it pretty hard. I mean, like 5 years later, you're doing some pretty cool things. So that'd be a great success story.
Yeah. And I think just right now too, in this time, I always tell myself, you know, as cliche as it may sound, like trust the process and enjoy the journey, just because like you had mentioned, that period of time when you're like, okay, trying to get to your ultimate goal.
Right.
It's like, okay, but you're not enjoying really where you are because you're so focused on that, which there's nothing wrong. Like I'm very ambitious and I'm focused on like, you know, to get to my ultimate goal. But at the same time, you have to look at what's in front of you and take everything and just learn, you know, ask questions and just do your best. And it's okay to, you know, make mistakes at times. Like I'm so hard on myself, and I've always tried to be like a perfectionist, you know, like to the T, but it's like, no, I have to remind myself, especially being in TV, you know, like you're gonna mess up sometimes. And especially me, like a lot of people, they go and they start off in a small market, but for me, I started here and where I was born, you know, Fresno, so my story's a little different than others. Normally they go to like somewhere in Texas where no one really knows about, you know?
That's very true.
So, yeah, I just have to remind myself, like, hey, you know, you're doing good for only being here for 5 months in TV, so you're not doing bad, like anything crazy. And like I said, I haven't gotten in trouble for saying a cuss word or anything.
What, can you share some of your ultimate goals, or not really? Is there anything you can share with us about where you'd like to see yourself headed?
Yeah, I will share. I could share my ultimate goal. You know, I'm, like I said, very private when it comes to like sharing and putting that out there.
I know, so whatever you're comfortable sharing.
No, I'll say, so my ultimate goal is I love sports and I have a passion for sports, and obviously, you know, being in radio too, entertainment, so I would love to do something where both sports and music collide. So that's one of them. I'm like, that's one of them. And then I would also love to work for a professional sports team, whether it's MLB, or it's NFL or NBA. Yeah.
That's super cool, and I could see you doing that and being great at it. That's a great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show today. Where can everybody follow you to see what's going on? Just give everyone your Insta.
My Instagram is AlexGovea, and that's the same for Twitter as well.
And then you keep us kind of posted on different things that you're doing, and then also the news topics.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right?
For sure. Yeah, keeping the community informed and. Yeah, putting some sprinkling, or I should say sparkling, you know, the words of encouragement as well. Just helping people, you know, get through their day and being able to be that light.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for returning to Everything Sparkle.
Very good.
So what do we have going on this month?
You know,
Next month?
what we're doing is I'm here, of course, as an ambassador for the Real Men Wear Pink Foundation, Central California. And when I say Central California, that's really important because since we are a local chapter, any money that we raise for the American Cancer Society gets to stay here in our local area. So I'm here to talk about our upcoming third annual charity golf tournament that we're doing, raising money for the American Cancer Society. October 28th, Madera Golf and Country Club. Registration starts at 8, shotgun starts at 9 o'clock. We'll have a great day out there playing golf, food, beverages. Oh my God, it's going to be just so much fun. And all the time we're having this fun, we're raising money. And so that is kind of what we've got October 28th. So we've got a little time to get registered, but I got to tell you, folks,
It fills up fast. Last time it was so full.
Yeah, we have really starting to get a lot of traction here. So we truly believe it will sell out, and so we need to get registered as quickly as possible.
Didn't last year it sell out as well?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
yes, it
I
did.
remember.
Yeah, and I've got a big shout out to BMW Fresno. Is our major corporate sponsor,
Oh, that's
and they're
awesome.
back again this year. They are just phenomenal. They give so much to the community. But as he said, we've been really fortunate because I have been out soliciting donations from our local restaurants, our local grocery stores, our local retail outlets, and you know, it's hard for them to say no to the American Cancer Society. They've been very, very generous, and especially when we tell them your money will stay here locally.
Right.
They are so in tune with that. So we're really proud of that.
You guys are so smart to do this at the end of October. I'm so glad you avoided summertime.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes. And of course, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it was really kind of tied in. I think the weather's going to be perfect. We had a great weather last year. Hoping for the same this time. It should be fun.
So it's close to Halloween. Are we dressing up or what?
Say that again?
Are we going to dress up because it's close to Halloween?
You know, I never thought about that, but that's a great idea. Maybe we'll have a best dressed costume contest.
That would be interesting.
I love the idea. I love that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, it'll be a fun day. It really is a great day out there. And like I said, the money that gets raised is just phenomenal. You know, a little background on Real Men Wear Pink is that, you know, the money that we're raising that stays here locally. What I really am so proud and humbled about is that, you know, we're providing gas cards to patients who need to get to their treatment. Gas prices are so high these days, it's hard for them to get to treatment. Sometimes they miss their treatments. So we're giving them gas cards to make sure that they get their treatments. We're fortunate, I'm fortunate as a cancer patient, cancer survivor, I live here in town. I'm 15 minutes away from the cancer center. I can get there. there are people coming in from out of town, traveling hours to get here. Well, they need a place to stay. We're providing hotel rooms for them. That money really, really gets used in a real positive way. My biggest thing is, and I know Stacy and I have talked about this, is that, going through chemo, obviously you're going to lose your hair. It's a given. And I had the same thing happen to me. And I know that for the longest time, I didn't even want to look into a mirror. It's just not where you want to be. So we take these women who have lost their hair and won't leave their home. We take them and we get them fitted for wigs.
I love that.
Yes, and now it gives them a little dignity to get back out in the public, allows them to kind of go back into a normal life. It's very rewarding, very rewarding. I'm so glad that I'm in the position I'm at, being an ambassador for this association, this foundation. It's just, it's where I need to be at this point. I just can't even tell you. It's part of my journey. It really is.
Oh, I think it's great what you do. My cousin Diana, whose birthday is today, actually is a breast cancer survivor. And so it's just so important that what you guys are doing and that
Yes.
it stays in the community. So tell us a little bit about your cancer journey.
I got to tell you, I was July of 2020. I was healthy, 60-year-old man, never had been sick, never been in a hospital before, and I fell ill one day and got taken over to St. Agnes. They originally thought I had a bleeding ulcer, and it turns out they went in and found it was cancer. So I had stomach cancer. I spent almost 2 months in the hospital. I had 85% of my stomach removed, lost 48 pounds. But today I'm healthy again. I'm still in the battle. I'm still having some treatments done, but I'm one of those fortunate ones. I really am. And so here I am, and I thought, when I finally got physically capable of being able to kind of get back into my life, that's when I decided, I need to do something. I need to give back. I just really do. And that's how I became an ambassador for the Real Men Wear Pink. Stacy Wu, very good friend, she kind of guided me through this and has been there for me, and it's just amazing. I just love her. She's a great gal, and so that's where I'm at. I can't see myself not doing this anymore. I will do this to the very end. I really will.
I love that.
Yeah, I really will.
Do you know at all the stats of men that have breast cancer? Because I know it's way higher than we think.
Yes.
Men don't get checked. What insights do you have on that?
Yeah, I wish I had the actual data, and I don't know that really well. Although I know, as you said, there's just not as much awareness of men's breast cancer. But men get breast cancer. We have breast cancer. And so that's why I say it's very, very important. Just get checked. It takes a day out of your life, but that one day could save your life. And so just go in, get checked. I know I was the same way. You try to be a little macho and you don't want to, I won't get sick. It can happen. It happens. And so I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get checked.
So when you say get checked, for what though? There's not a one-stop shop. You have to check for different cancers. So what does your doctors tell you to do?
Say that again.
What do your doctors encourage you when you're like,
well, you know what?
What do you get checked for? I know for your cancer that reoccurring, but in other areas too.
Oh, yeah. Breast cancer is what you need to be checked for. Get a colonoscopy. I know we all go, oh, God, the dreaded colonoscopy.
Right.
No. But I'll tell you what, it saves lives. Those are really, really important, especially in men. And so, I would just say, talk to your primary doctor. Say, doc, I'm at that age. I need to get checked. What should I be looking for? And let them guide you, because it's really, really important. And that's why I think that's what we're doing now, is we need to bring that awareness out there. Unfortunately, we all kind of turn a blind eye. We go, oh, I don't want to talk about the C word. But the C word is really, really, it's out there. And we just really need to take focus and bring that awareness out to the general public. And I think that's what we're doing with this fundraiser. We have multiple. We just had a fundraiser last month, did very, very well. And it's amazing because we had people coming up to us at the end of the event saying, hey, listen, do you have any information? How do I go about getting checked? How do I go? What do I do? So we know we touched people, and that's the key. Is just they're going to tell their family and friends, who are going to tell their family and friends, and that's how this thing all gets going. So yeah, it's really important.
That's the greatest thing, is that you're not just helping people with cancer.
No.
Now you're helping prevent everybody that just comes to you and they get that in their head. That's really smart.
And I've said, early detection is the way for prevention. Because you wait till something happens. Now it's trying to, how do I fix this? Whereas before you could get detected and go, okay, it's early. I was at stage 4.
Wow.
So just the mere fact that I'm still here is a miracle in itself.
Wow.
And so, but positive attitudes bring out positive outcomes, and I had to just stay on top of the world and say, I have cancer. Cancer does not have me. I'm going to fight this and I will win. And I'm in that battle. But again, if I can just put that out there, get some people to understand, take a look and go, wow, you know what? I like what he just said. I need to go get checked. Then I've got my job. And that's really where I need to be.
With you, was it hereditary? Did they ever?
My dad had cancer, but that was the only person in our family that had cancer, and unfortunately he was a smoker.
So you probably didn't even think, okay.
No,
wow.
yeah, and so that wasn't my world, but it just happened that way, so yeah, but with me having the cancer, like I said, with my own family, it's become such a big issue with us that every one of them are like my little ambassadors. My kids are out sharing the information with their friends and family. So it really becomes, I said, no one person gets cancer. Cancer affects everybody.
It doesn't discriminate. I've always heard that.
Yeah. So you that's why I said it's so important. I really appreciate you allowing us the time to come in and talk about this.
3 years. It's been going on for 3 years, this annual event. Who
Right.
started it? How did it get started?
I came in on the second year, so I'm not sure. I think Stacy Wu was one of the pioneers and put this thing together, and it just kind of grew. First year was not a sellout. Second year was a sellout.
Well, you started during COVID, right? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's grown. It's getting bigger. It's, oh my God. I'm getting calls from past players and going like, hey, when's your tournament? I need to come out. I want to sign me up. So I say, I know it'll sell out. It's going to, and I wish I could say, but I can't yet. We've got some really, really special
entertainment.
Yeah, coming in, and
Ooh.
I'm just waiting till all the final details get taken care of, and then we'll make that announcement.
Can you give us a hint in what field? Like sports, musicians?
Yeah, it's sports.
Sports.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have some special people joining us.
You better tell me. We'll keep all the viewers.
There you go. There you go.
So, what's the website we go to purchase a ticket?
So you can go to the Real Men Wear Pink Foundation. It is probably the best. It's going to be on Facebook. Go to social media. All the registration forms are on there. All the information on, there's donation slips are on there. Now, if anybody wants to make a donation to the golf tournament, whether it be a gift card or merchandise or a monetary gift, then you can call me direct. My number is 559-259-4800. 259-4800, and I would be more than glad to come pick that up. That we're definitely looking for that. All that money stays local, and so the more raffle prizes that we can do at the end of the day, the bigger the donation that we'll be able to send to the Cancer Society and keep here. So
that's right. So we can also just donate stuff to raffle off as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so if not, they can go to the American Cancer Society. There is a link that will take you to the Real Men Wear Pink and they can do it that way also. So,
Gil, do you have any success stories you could share about something that the foundation's done when you've had this fundraiser, a story that you know personally that touched someone
well,
specifically?
There are so many things that have happened. Really, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint any one, but I made friends with a family when I was having my chemotherapy, and I got them to come into the realm of the American Cancer Society. They were really skeptical. They said, well, nobody, that money goes all over the world. Nobody really, the money doesn't get collected and stay here. No, I'm telling you, and we can help you. They were at that point where, unfortunately, they were going to lose their house.
Wow.
They couldn't make their car payments, We were able to assist them and keep them from that happening. Of course, we were going through a part of COVID where they couldn't be evicted, but it bought them some time. We were able to generate.
That is so
yes.
awesome. Okay, so
to this point, I'm still very good friends with them. They were so thankful.
Where are they in their treatment?
They are done with treatment. The gentleman is in remission, which is really, really good.
What kind of cancer was it?
He had lung cancer. Yeah, he had lung cancer.
And what stage was that?
He was stage 3.
Wow, that is so awesome. No, stories like this are important just so people, know that.
Oh, yeah. And so those are the kind of things that I just feel really, really good about. I don't do it for any other reason other than I have my life, and I'm fortunate to have it. And if I could share something out of my life with others and make them, get them to a point where I'm at, that's my job. That's my world.
I love that. You are so great. You and Stacy both. We really appreciate that you guys do this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Oh, no. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell our viewers what you do.
I'm a boxer. I've been boxing for I've been boxing since 2014 after my final year of college football.
Really? You went from football to boxing?
Yes.
What was like the transition in that? Because that's a very different sport.
I played football my whole life. When I actually went to a junior college down in SoCal, Ventura College. Played a couple years there, was looking to transfer out. During my transfer year, I found out that I was going to be a father. So just the mindset of knowing that football was probably done for me, I ended up just making a transition into just, get into another contact sport. And I found boxing.
Did you finish off, did you graduate everything?
No, I literally went from here, went from Ventura College, I found that out, decided to walk into my coach's office, told him that I was done playing football because I had to pursue, obviously, my father role that I was going to be taking on. So I ended up literally leaving school within a week, didn't graduate.
Oh, man.
I pretty much dropped out of college.
Man, but it didn't stop you. So you got into boxing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. So how did you get into it on a professional level?
So what happened was when I moved back home for a year due to some personal, things in my life that happened in around 2013, I ended up meeting up with some high school friends. They were going to a boxing gym locally down in Oxnard. And they used to always tell me, hey, man, let's go to the boxing gym. Let's go to the boxing gym. And I always brush it off like, nah, I'm not going to go. Like, my mindset was still, I could still do football eventually. I still had that dream that I was going to be able to go and do it again. Then one day, I had nothing to do, sit on the couch. They asked me, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I'm going, and the coach put me on mitts, put me on the bag, and it just felt natural. Like, it just felt like I was supposed to be there. So after years of just constantly grinding, watching film, watching fights, studying different type of boxers, it grew into, a passion, something that kept me out of trouble, something that just kept me focused throughout, my 20s. Now being 30 now, I couldn't imagine boxing not being a part of my life. I think just training and connecting with the right people, I was able to, spar a lot of pros in their gyms. I sparred with, the pros here locally, and every one of them told me that I was a natural. I had power, and from there I just started believing it. Like, you know what, maybe I can do this thing professionally. And so from there, it just took off.
So how does that work? You get like sponsors. How do you become a professional boxer?
Really, all you have to do is, you know, it's all about your coach telling you when it's time. You know, not knowing when to go in too soon. When I was younger, you know, as I started progressing in the sport, you know, the goal was to go pro when I was younger. But like I was telling, you know, people in my corner, people that I'm always around, my small circle that I like to have, I was telling them back then when I was around like 24, 25, I wanted to go pro, but I think mentally I probably wasn't ready. I don't feel like I didn't get ready for pros as far as being on a mental level, probably about 2 years ago. And when COVID happened, I, you know, signed up to go take my state test, you know, your physical test to make sure that you're physically fit to go perform in the ring. And got everything, got certified, got cleared, and COVID happened. Boom. So at that time, it was, hey, you got to wait, you got to get vaccinated, you got to do this, you got to do that. So me and my coach decided to just, you know, stay in the dark, train, and just continue to perfect my craft, continue to learn and be a student of the game. And then from there, it's just a matter of getting that call, really, and saying, hey, we got a fight down here. You got a guy? Yeah, we got a guy. And then just match make from there.
So you have a fight coming up.
Yes.
Tell us about that. How'd you get that?
So this fight is a little different. So this fight is I don't know if you're familiar with the Battle of the Badges.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Battle of the Badges is for anybody in law enforcement.
Right.
Anybody that is a fireman, paramedic, first responders. Anybody that's a first responder gets to compete in that. The guy that runs it, I actually did like a last minute fill-in for the last Battle of the Badges they had here in Fresno for my coach, who was Sergeant Williams from Fresno PD. He called me up and was like, hey man, I got a last minute card for you in a fight. And, you know, me being, you know, just me growing up, you know, in the inner city of LA, you know, when it's time to go, it's time to go. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I had 3 days to get ready. So I ended up, you know, 3 days to get ready for a fight against a polished professional that was getting ready for his fight. So I said, yeah, I'm down. So I ended up showing up 3 days, ended up winning the fight. And then from there, the promoter from the Battle of the Badges said, hey, before you do have your first pro fight, because once you fight professional, you can't fight in this, because it's pretty much like, it's a disadvantage. It's a mismatch.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so he called me personally and said, hey, before you decide to have your pro fight, whenever you get that call to go to fight pro, we want to throw you in here for at least a year or two, you know, have fun with this, and then whatever you decide to do at that time, you decide to do. So.
That is so cool. And then you work for the PD, right? You're a recruiter?
Bakersfield.
So Bakersfield PD.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Because you live here, but you recruit for them. How does that work?
No, so I'm not a recruit. I'm in the academy currently right now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very
So you're in the police academy?
Yes.
And you're gonna get ready to be a cop for Bakersfield.
Bakersfield PD.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's so interesting to moonlight as a boxer, be a cop. That's wow. That's so cool. So what does your boxing promoter think of that? Because being a cop's a lot of work and a lot of time consuming. Was he cool with you doing that? Because you might not be available for every fight that comes your way.
I mean, it's all about balance. So, you know, once everything's all set in stone, there's a date. So let's say they say the date is, you know, December 5th. I'm just throwing a date out there. I have time to plan, I have time to train. So around that time, it's like, hey, you know, I have this amount of time to get ready. I need this amount of time to train. So it's all about balance. You know, it's all about finding balance. And I feel like if you're really passionate about doing something, you know, you're gonna make sure that you find the time to do it.
And they probably like that. I mean, it's probably really good for the city, but when you like become a cop, and they're probably gonna want you to go fight, because that puts them on the map in a good way.
Throughout my whole process of going through the whole background stuff with Bakersfield, every single time I get to, like, I had a captain's interview months ago, and the first thing the captain said was, hey man, let me just sit over here because I know you're a boxer. I'm like, so
they've been punking you the whole time.
Oh no, not punking me, but I'd say as far as them just being, showing their support and showing that, that besides being a cop, this is what I do outside of being behind a badge. So it's one of those things to where I just look forward to being able to do too. Be able to box and just be able to protect and serve the community of Bakersfield.
That is, how did you get linked up with Bakersfield as opposed to being here locally?
Funny story is I actually went out there because I was always told if you're trying to get into any form of law enforcement to apply for different agencies. So I ended up applying for Fresno twice, didn't get in twice, but I wasn't discouraged. I was a little bummed out just because obviously, I stay, in the Fresno area, so I would rather be here protecting the city that I'm very, very familiar with. But I went down to Bakersfield, applied for them, didn't get in the first time with them either. And I had to go back, study the material, take the test again, pass the test. And then from there, I just was determined. I was very determined to do everything the right way, make sure that I was very open and honest about my background before ever wanted to be a policeman. I didn't grow up wanting to be a policeman. I didn't grow up, at 10 years old saying I'm gonna be a cop one day. I didn't. So I would say my earlier background definitely wasn't somebody you would think like, okay, this guy's gonna be a cop one day. So.
How do you think it prepares you mentally for fights? Because, I mean, like you said, you had a lot of rejection and you were like, no, I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to do this. How do you think that's going to prepare you in the ring?
Just staying focused. I mean, I had a lot of downfalls, I would say. But I say my background in sports, playing football, majority of my life, I feel like learning how to prepare at an early age is what's going to prepare me for the ring, what's going to prepare me to go out there and do my job in Bakersfield. I feel like, without boxing, I wouldn't have the focus and the drive that I have now. So knowing that I have an opponent October 15th in Sacramento, just knowing that I have an opponent October 15th and he's probably training as hard as I am, but I just know that believing in myself and just knowing my background and where I came from, like growing up where I grew up in LA, a lot of me being 30 years old, a lot of boys that I grew up with didn't make it. So I'm one of the lucky ones that came out and doing something positive as far as giving back to the community, serving, boxing, being a role model for my son. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones that made it out of South Central LA as far as my area I grew up in.
How did you end up here?
When I moved up here, so after my football career was done at Ventura College, the mother of my son, she's from the area. She lived out there going to school, and then I was working 2 jobs, and then they told her, I think it was at month number 6, they told her, hey, you can't work anymore because due to the pregnancy, she was high risk. So I had to take on, all the bills, the rent, still going to school, still passing my classes at Ventura College, still going to film sessions for football, still playing, still practicing. So my day would literally start at 3 a.m. because I had to go work one job at 3 a.m. I had to work one job at 3:30, wow, and then come back, go to class, and then go to practice, and then go and flip pizzas at my second job.
Oh my gosh.
So doing all that, she had the idea to say, hey, Fresno's cheaper than Oxnard, California, which it is, still is. And then I decided to, like I said, I decided to just hang up my cleats and just start my transition to being a father and being a supportive boyfriend. And then so I put all my goals and all my, what I want to do, I put that on hold. And then the best decision for me, honestly.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that must have been hard to do. I mean,
definitely.
to make that decision.
I cried like a baby for like a week.
Oh my gosh.
Because I literally picked up everything that I've known, SoCal, football, family, friends back home, that's still back home now. I picked all that up and left literally in a week. Came out here I came to Fresno on a Monday. We looked at an apartment. We looked at places that I could possibly work at. Came out here with no job. Came out here with probably $500 in my pocket. And that was on a Monday, and then Thursday we left. And then I've been here ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And you made the most of it. You were like, I'll become a cop. I'll do this. I'll train.
Yeah.
What's the boxing gym you train at mostly right now?
So my boxing gym is very private. So my coach used to he used to train us out of Thrive. Well, he trained the guys that I know now out of Thrive. But as you probably know, Thrive is no longer in existence. So he took everything that he had at Thrive as far as his boxing equipment. He took it and his garage is literally built just for fighting. So his garage is located in Clovis. I'm not going to give the exact coordinates.
Oh, we're not going to go stalk your coach.
I'm not going to give the exact coordinates.
We won't do that.
But, if you're interested in checking it out, it's only just hey, coach, I got somebody who wants to check out the gym. Doors are always open to anybody that's interested in boxing, learning how to box, or just want to see what, where we train and how hard we train. The door's always open. But it's in Clovis. So it's pretty much, I don't really leave Clovis unless I have to leave Clovis. Like, the gym is right there. I go to the
Right.
gym. I come home about 5 minutes away from the gym, shower, boxing, which is about 8 minutes away. So everything that I do is literally in the proximity of a circle.
And you're coaching right now as well?
Yes.
So who are you coaching?
I'm coaching youth football. I'm coaching the Clovis Sharks.
Right on.
I do everything. I do it all. I'm always
love
busy.
that. So
I'm
that's where
always
you're going to go
busy.
tonight. You're going to go coach the Sharks.
Yep.
What school is that? What's that for?
Clovis Sharks, that's the youth football organization that branches out of Clovis East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
I live right there.
Oh, see? Well, so you stay in that circle, see?
So we're in the same circle.
We're in
Yeah,
the
so I
same
see each
circle.
other at the gym.
Yeah, all the time, every day. Well, I didn't see you today, though. I was there.
I was at the other one.
Oh, okay.
I flip-flop
Okay.
the two GP3s, yeah.
Yeah, so that's literally my everyday. Wake up, gym. Well, wake up, take my son to school, make sure he's fed, take him to school, make sure he's dressed, all that. To come back, shower before the gym, boom, do my thing at the gym, put in all the hard work that I do there, as you see. Then I come back, shower. If it's time to go to boxing, I go to boxing. Then I come back home, shower, pick him up from school, make sure he does his homework, make sure he gets a snack, get him dressed for football, take him to football practice, coach him, coach all his teammates, and by the time I lay down at 9 o'clock at night, I'm ready. I'm out.
Well, I'm
out.
so glad that you're not waking up at 3:30 anymore and like going to bed late. I'm glad that you have at least a more balance. You get a little bit of sleep nowadays.
Yeah, a little bit of sleep, but I love what I do. I love that I'm involved in two different things. I think it keeps my head on strong, keeps me focused. I think it sets me apart from the average guy, I would say. Being as humble as possible. I'm just saying, like, I don't think, there's a lot of, guys that grew up where I grew up that will be able to do what I do now.
Right. No, I totally get that. And respect.
Like a lot of guys where I'm from wouldn't even dare to even go apply to be a officer, just because growing up in the inner city of LA, we were always taught that officers are the bad guy.
Yeah,
it's like,
I get it.
So, but I was always one of those kids that always knew that that's their job. Just
Right.
like a fireman has his job, just like a doctor has his job, just like a teacher has their job. That's their job, and they have to protect and serve in any way they can. So, I got friends now that oh man, you're a cop now? Like, yeah, proud of it too.
And you're
because
still the same person.
still the same person. I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I made it this far, and I'm proud that I can. Like my son now, like now he tells all his friends at school when I pick him up, oh, my dad's gonna be a cop, and he's happy. Like seeing him talk like that about me is like, I'm doing something right. So, it make I'm proud of the man I am today.
Love it. Well,
sure.
we're proud of you too. Tell everyone what your IG is so they can follow you on Instagram, and then you're going to keep us like in the loop of when you fight, right? So
Oh,
we could
absolutely.
like tune in. Yeah, so tell everyone your IG.
Okay, so my IG is SoCal Native. That is SoCalNaite. I'm very active on there. I'm gonna keep you guys updated on fights, keep you guys updated on my goal and my goals and my journeys when it comes to being in this, being in the field of law enforcement. And like I said, October 15th I fight in Sacramento, so I'll be able to post that information on there if you guys want to come check me out. So show your love and support. Tickets are on sale now, and let's go get the win.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me again.
Felt right in the morning, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here. Oh, I must confess, dear. Don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do. And there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend. Playing pretend. Playing pretend. Ooh, playing pretend.
It's a mystery.